Well, hello, and thank you for letting me be able to for allowing me to present to you today regarding, and I will present the Swedish system of deposit return system for PET bottles and aluminum cans. Myself speaking is Bengt Lagerman. I'm the managing director of Returpack in Sweden, and we are the administrative body that is handling the whole system in Sweden. If we go back to when we actually started, we are back in the beginning of the 1980s. It was when the aluminum can was about to be launched in Sweden. The government and other bodies were afraid of the littering that would cause into Sweden. So there was a fear of actually from the industry that the introduction will be banned, but instead a solution was found to introduce a return system with deposit similar to the ones that was already existence in Sweden on glass bottles. So we had a legislation, the first type of legislation that came in 1982, and then Returpack was started in 1984 to take care of aluminum cans in the Swedish market. In 1994, we have had the same discussion, and the legislation was also introduced for PET, one-way PET bottles, which was then released into the system with the deposit. The same discussion, but now it was with PET, and the solution was to adopt the same system that was well functioning for aluminum cans, also for PET, one-way PET bottles. About 10 years later, we have been moving all our activities to Norrköping, which is a city 150 kilometers south of Stockholm, where all the packaging that we collect all through Sweden is transported here, and then where we do further sorting, baling, quality checks, and then send out the material for further recycling, either in Sweden or in other countries in Europe. When you talk about Returpack and the deposit return system in Sweden, you also need to talk about Pantamera, because that's the brand name that we use, and it means in English deposit more. It actually was launched in 2004 as a standalone advertising campaign. And the first movie that we made, the Pantamera, was a remake of the famous song Guantanamera, where they were singing Pantamera instead. So that was the origin. But it was so successful that we started to use Pantamera as our brand name. And when we talk to consumers and sometimes to customers or trade, we use our brand name Pantamera. And Pantamera is as well-known brand name in Sweden as IKEA or H&M or Coca-Cola. So 99% of Swedes recognize both the song, they think that we actually wrote it, the origin, and the brand name Pantamera. We, as an operation, Returpack, we are owned by the Swedish Brewery Association to half, and then the other half is owned by the trade, which is the Swedish Food Retailers Association and the Swedish Grocery Stores Association. So we are a privately owned company However, given, of course, the legislation and the demands in the legislation, we also, under the supervision of the Swedish Board of Agriculture, has given us the permit to operate and who are overlooking our activities. Our mission is to be responsible for the Swedish deposit return system for cans and PET bottles for ready-to-drink beverages. And this includes to spreading the information, handle the compensation for the return of the deposits, and coordinate the collection. And then, of course, it's with coordinating collection, it means bringing the bottles and cans from stores or other collection places and into our site, so that it can be further baled and sent out for the further recycling. Overall, we are, of course, controlled by the legislation and the very special deposit law that we have in Sweden, where it actually says a ready-to-drink beverage in a plastic bottle or metal can may be professionally transferred or marketed only if the plastic bottle or can is part of such a return system. That means that you can only sell if it's part of the system, and this includes both the suppliers, but also the trade. And it also specifies that those who sell this type of product must ensure that the packaging is included in the system. So in Sweden, it's mandatory for these products to be part of the system, and it's up to the trade and to the suppliers to ensure that. There are also in the legislation for the moment, but that's under revision, certain provisions that for the moment, if the majority of the product is consisting of is milk-based, or if it's consisting of fruit juice from fruit and berries, it does not need to be into the system. That will be changed with upcoming laws. And already today we have introduced juices into our system, and we are slowly also starting to introduce milk-based products. Our business concept as an operation is to operate a return system with deposit for recycling of beverage packaging made of plastic and metal in Sweden, with a vision to contribute to a sustainable society through the world's best deposit return system, where we collect all sold deposit packaging. It's likely that we will never collect 100% every bottle or can that is sold in Sweden, but our aim is to always do that. Yes, what we are as a system, we also need to look at the future, because at the same time as we're handling today's packaging without compromising the resources of the future, we also work to develop our operation at all levels, because there will be new behaviors by consumers, new behaviors by suppliers. So we do this by constantly updating ourselves on changing of consumption patterns and behaviors, introducing new technology, also incorporating new laws and regulations, and looking how things will be in the future. For that, we have, for instance, introduced our Pantamera Express, which is a return vending machine that we use at municipality recycling centers, which is a bulk solution where you can empty a sack or a case directly into the return vending machine. We have connected other products to the system, like fruit and berry juices. They're not mandatory, but will likely be in the future. We have what we call Panta Hemma, which is where you have at-home delivery of groceries. You can also then return with the same delivery. You can return your deposits back to that delivery firm, and that way we get the deposits back. We have introduced digital payments for some of our vending machines, and we are looking into introducing that into the trade as well. We have self-service web for producers and importers. We have our advanced sorting, our PET and HDP at the plant, and we are working with deposit return point close to the city with cash payment to complement the store deliveries. And this is for seeing how things will be and be prepared for how things will be in the future. Our values, these are the values of Returpack, is responsibility, it's being innovative, and that we cooperate with everyone that's involved in the system, and our values show the way. These are our numbers for 2020. We have one facility. It's all located in Norrköping with 73 employees. We have a little bit more than 7,500 articles in the system. That is individual PET bottles or cans. We have 12,000 customers connected to us, so that will be the stores, but also other collection site. We took back 2.2 billion cans and bottles last year with a turnover of 3.1 billion Swedish crowns. We had a recycling rate of 88%, and we are actually running around in Sweden with 2 million, close to 2.5 million miles a year. You could ask yourself why we're not receiving a higher percentage than 88%, but that's due to border trade, and that we have a leakage of packages going through the border, particularly to Norway. So many packages are recycled in the Norwegian infinitum system instead. If we look at our producers and importers, a little bit more than 300 companies, and as I said, with 7,500 plus individual products in the system. It's all controlled in trade by the Swedish Board of Agriculture and the local municipalities that these bottles belong to the system. They report sales every month to us. Also, as I said, the producer of fruit syrup and juice can actually voluntarily join the deposit system, even though it's not mandatory. And of course, as you know, this deposit means it's a zero-sum game. The producer importers, they pay the deposit to us, but they charge it to the trade, who in turn then charge it to their customers. And we then, at the returns, pay out from the deposit we received. We pay out the deposits back to the trade or to the customers returning the bottles and cans. When it comes to Returpack, we check and test all products before we can connect them into our system. So making sure that they work throughout the process, from the reverse vending machine to that it can become a new bottling can. And things that we check is that it's a form of the packaging, that the materials are the right things, that the marking is right, and the content. And it's very important that all products are designed for recycling. The journey of the deposit money. I talked a little bit about it before, but when the breweries and importers sell beverages to a store, they pay the corresponding deposit to us. The store pays the deposit money to the breweries and importers when they buy the beverages, and then the consumer pays the deposit to the store when they buy the beverage. The consumer receives the deposit money back from the store, and it does not need to be the same store. It can be any store. Or any other place where there is collection when they deposit the cans and bottles, and the store in this case receives the deposit money from Returpack when they pay the deposit to the consumer. So that's how we have a circular loop of the deposit money. Why should you deposit? Why is the deposit system good? Well, of course, it minimizes environmental impact through closed material recycling. We have in our LCA analysis show that we deposit return system like Sweden, we are saving 180,000 tons of CO2 equivalents per year compared to if we had to introduce new virgin material every time a bottle or can are being sold. The bottle can become a bottle and can become a can. So it's really circular from that perspective. We have an efficient collection and recycling, which all markets with deposit return system have. We have a high collection rate with the help of deposit, and it actually, we can guarantee 100% material recycling. We recycle everything, including the caps. So we can guarantee a good material recycling. Yes, and the deposit saves 180,000 tons of CO2 equivalents per year, which is, in a Swedish population, it's like 8 tons per person or year, which is also equivalent to about what a small Swedish city would be. Our recycling rates: cans 89%, total PET 86%. It's slightly lower on small PET, which is on the go consumption, where we have challenges sometimes in bringing those bottles back or getting consumers to also deposit those. Our goal is to reach 90% recycling, and the goal is prescribed by law. If you look at our financials, our revenues comes from the sale of collected sorted material and admin fees, and our expenditures is primarily a handling fees that we pay out to the grocery trade and other collection points for their handling of the deposits. Then, of course, it's our own logistics and production, and then we have our operational expenses for running this operation, but also for marketing and for the development. Sustainability is, of course, what's all of this is centering about. But it also means that we think that this for us is taking responsibility not only for environment, but also for the society overall in everything that we do with our actions and our decisions and how we operate. We want to be a true sustainable company. So our five focus area in sustainability is, of course, recycling, which is what it's all about. But it's also climate, environment, our business relations, how we operate with our partners and other businesses, our co-workers, and overall our behavior in society. Everything needs to be sustainable. We have a plan to become carbon neutral. So we are monitoring and reporting everything when it comes to transports, our facility, business trips. And for the moment, we compensate the small impact that we have with a scheme that is compensating that. But our plan is to, by 2030, we should, by our own, be totally carbon neutral.
Start.
We do a annual sustainability report where we are describing our what we've been doing every year from a sustainability point of view, and this is in accordance with GRI, the Global Reporting Initiative standards. We report recycling, climate, environment, business relations, employee, and society, and that report is available to all our stakeholders and can be found on our homepage. As mentioned before, more than 2 billion return packages are transported to us every year. About 93% are picked up by compacted trucks in the grocery trade, and the compressed packages are then transported to intermediate warehouses, where they are then reloaded for further transport on these long-haul trucks to us in Norrköping. Every year we drive about 2.5 million miles, and 98% of the trucks runs on completely fossil-free fuel. And our goal is to be completely fossil-free by 2025 and carbon-free by 2030. We have, as part of that, we have actually signed a lot of agreements that we will include in the Transport Challenge and the Östgöta Challenge, so that we will become one of the companies where we are fossil-free, or as is mentioned already, by 2025. In Sweden, a little bit more than 3,100 grocery stores are connected to our system, where they have a bit more than 4,000 deposit return machines. And 93% of all the collective volumes come through the grocery trade. Consumers are, for them it's normal when they do the grocery shopping, they bring their deposits back to the stores and put them into a return vending machine. Then we have also a little bit more than 50 our own vending machines at municipality recycling stations around the country. And through these, we collect another 4% of the total volume. We also do collection of the packaging through other channels, and that's close to 9,000 different other customers. And that can be traffic shops, that is what's sold in restaurant, pizzerias, so fast food restaurants, camping sites, skiing resorts, festivals, events, sports arenas, and other associations. It's not necessary that the deposit is then returned in those locations, and it's up to the consumer to decide whether you want to have the money back. You go to a store or a municipality recycling center. But if you just want to return your empty bottle or can, then you can also use these. And the deposits then, well, in these collections, normally goes to charity. If we go back to Norrköping at our facility, the cans and bottles, they are sorted separately and compressed into bales. And then when it comes to plastic, we have our buyer is next doors, who are processing then the plastic, the PET material, while all the aluminum is transported by train to Germany and France, where new can sheet metal is being made. And all of this then enables that we can make packaging to new cans and bottles. We also recycle the plastic caps, so they are sorted and recycled into cable wheels. Overall, a little bit more than 20,000 tons of aluminum and 20,000 tons of clear PET is produced, and then in addition some colored PET, and then of course the HDPE caps. It's important that we strive that our employees that they thrive and develop at work, but also that it's a safe and secure and healthy workplace. So this is primarily focus for us within that we constantly work to improve the working conditions for each individual employee. And as a matter of fact, last year we actually received proof of this, that we actually was announced to be Sweden's healthiest company. And that was based on what we are doing for getting low sickness, absence, high health attendance, gender equality, commitment, participation, and balancing life for our employees. So we were very proud of receiving this award last year in 2020. We also involved in society to launch Geri. Since 2015, we are one of the main sponsors of the Swedish Floorboard Association. In addition to that, we have a lot of collaboration with, among others, Keep Sweden Tidy, Clean Sweden, and Friends. So we are also involved in many of these things from a sustainability point of view. Marketing and communications is an important part of our work. As I said earlier, we are well known by our brand name Pantamera, and we do a lot of communication all through the year. We think it's important that it's humorous, it's twinkle in the eye with no pointers, and that it's modern and that inspires to return the deposits. And the basis of all our communication is aimed to influence our attitude and behaviors and to increase accessibility and simplicity. And as we said before, 93% of all the recycled packages comes from stores versus vending machines. It's actually the trade that owns the deposit spaces and the machines, and it's important for them that it's a well-functioning place. It should be easy to do the right thing, and no matter where you are. So we are constantly working to make the deposit system simple and accessible. And for that, for instance, we have containers and tubes for the return of packages. We have our Panta Hemma, which is the collection of packages at home. We have a collection of packages by different associations, and that could be sports clubs, others that actually go around and collect. We have our own Pantamera Express machines. And we also do a lot of advocation at festivals and, as I said, camping sites, skiing resorts, all to be available while people want to return their deposits. With our advertising, we want to remind and inspire and thank everyone who is recycling. what we think the key factors for a successful deposit return system is that you have a unitary product. It means that the content, materials, and appearance of the product is uniform, that the packaging needs to be developed for recycling, that we can guarantee 100% material recycling, to always remind the consumer that to deposit more through encouraging communication, that we are an accessible deposit return system with a high recognition, and that the amount of the deposit is at a reasonable level, and for the moment in Sweden is 1 or 2 crowns. So that in summary summarizes the Swedish deposit return system. I thank you for the opportunity to share this with you.